Alright, so today I wanted to do an actual guide, and you might not actually think this is a guide or not, being that all my other guides have been quite satire. But I've had a couple friends who are saying they're having trouble with Velganos. I am quite overgeared for him, but I did get my clear at 1385, my entire gear set was 1385, not overgeared. So I wanna give some tips. And you probably won't get the clear as fast as me. You could probably get the clear cleaner than me, because you will see I will get a couple, get hit sometimes when I shouldn't. But hopefully I can give you some of the tricks that should make it a bit easier for you. Just play better than me, and you could probably get it flawlessly. First thing that we want to go over is you are going to want to have 4 items. One of these is interchangeable if your class has a lot of what this item gives. Let's go over that real quick. Number 1, you want your HP potions. Personally, I'm using green HP potions. That is because I am a mayhem berserker. I don't need anything better than that. That gives me a full heal. I would recommend blue potions most likely, because purple are quite expensive. But so you're more proficient, then maybe you can move down to green or something, but probably blue potions. Next, this is the one that I think is interchangeable. Whirlwind grenades. There is one mechanic that he will most likely do during every phase until his last phase that requires a large amount of stagger. Berserkers, and I want to say gun lancers, really any class that has a very high amount of stagger, they can get him down pretty easily. Otherwise, if you don't stagger him, you will have to run and you will miss a very nice damage phase where he is not moving and you can get a lot of free damage off. Next, pheromone bombs. Velganos is on the Foggy Ridge map, and as we know, this map, absolute cancer. It is very large, and if you're chasing him around, if you're closer to on item level, you will need more time to fight him. So you probably don't want to be chasing him that much. Lastly, flares. Again, flares are pretty much the same reason as your pheromone bombs, right? So you can catch up to him faster the first time, so you're not wasting too much time. You could make away with not using those pheromones and just using flares. Maybe running a swiftness robe. If your class lacks movement speed, we will see why you need a little bit of movement speed. But hopefully you won't need that. So let's get into it. Hopefully we can find him, and hopefully he's not too far away. And as we can see, he's way up here. It's very likely that he'll spawn in this top area. He seems to like doing it, I want to say, about half the time, even though we can also spawn pretty much any section of the map. Either I'm unlucky or that's just where he likes to spawn. Whichever it is, it's unfortunate. Alright, so we're approaching Velganos. I'm gonna want to save my roll, because you will see he's gonna dash at us pretty much the second we get in here. He does that about half the time, I'd say. Oh, alright, well, not this time. So again, that move that he just did there, it's good to watch out for it, because if you get stun locked inside of it, there is a very high chance, if you are close to item level, it will just flat kill you. Again, we're gonna watch out. It's a very nice time to get some back attacks off if you're a back attack class. Now, as we see here, we have these little light stacks on the ground, and we have little darkness puddles on the ground as well. We are going to want to pick up those light stacks. We'll show on the screen here that... Oh, geez. They give you an attack power buff. Again, as I said, if you just play better than me, you should be fine. But they give an attack power buff. The second he starts dropping those, he seems to have increased defense, is what I think it is. Or at least elemental defense. Yikes. Unless you have those. Now here we see, this is the staggered check that I was talking about. As you can see, as a berserker, I'm able to make it through that pretty quickly. And we don't have too many problems with it. And then we had that nice little DPS phase where I was able to pop my ulti. And we're just grabbing these stacks. They go up to 5. Now, if we do get hit by one of these dark moves, we will not only get a dark stack, but we will also lose one of our light stacks, which is a big problem because that means less damage, and dark stacks make us actually take more damage. So if we can get away without getting any of those, probably for the best. Now, as you can see, Velganos actually has 2 counter moves. He has 2 that can pop up. One you saw earlier, right before I died, was a charge. Oh my god, I'm gonna screw this up so many times. Of course it's when I'm recording. And again, the charge is right there. The other one is the breath. The breath will most likely kill you if you get hit by it too many times. Now, as he was leaving, since I don't want to chase him all the way across this fucking map, I'm gonna pheromone bomb him. When he does get set to leaving, you will lose your light stacks, but he no longer has the buff that is keeping us from dealing damage to him without it. Again, here he's going to give him back out, which means he is going to be taking less damage without light stacks, and we are going to want to pick these up. They are a massive damage increase, which is really nice. The only problem is they actually don't work if you're using them alongside Cursed Doll, because well, they do work, but it's additive, not multiplicative with Cursed Doll, so it's not too much of a bonus with it, unfortunately. But with Grudge, it would work as expected and is quite powerful. The only problem is this boss does so much damage, you might not want to have Grudge for this fight. Again, we're gonna pop stagger, as much stagger here as we can. That was actually really close. Holy shit. Again, we're getting some nice damage off while he's down. He's gonna try to run away. We're gonna pheromone bomb him. Pick up our light stacks. Now, one very important part is I don't want him too close to any of the walls. Now, the reasoning for that has not actually popped up yet, but we are going to pull him up here a little bit. You will see and you will understand when we get to that phase. It's not there yet. Again, we got to avoid these as much as we can. And, of course, the second we get him away from one wall, he just runs up to another. All right, there we go. Perfect. One other thing I haven't brought up until this point is a lot of the times after he does like a little chart, that's the wrong move. There's no way we're making this. Oh, yikes. Oh, I definitely should have bombed there instead of the pheromone the first time. And here we are in the final phase. This is the reason we didn't want him next to the wall. Now look at this. We saw that he had little clouds spinning around him before he did that move, correct? It's a pizza mechanic. Something recording tech decks seem to forget is to inform you why the spinning clouds were important. That dictates which direction you need to go to ensure that you are always inside of the light that Velganos shoots out. It always starts behind him, and then it either rotates around to his left, to his right, or rotates around to his right, to his left. This is a mechanic that is really worth learning, because at the end of the day, everything I've seen from Korea is a lot of bosses, including like the Hell Kakul Sedan, which is their newest like high-end content that they've gotten, uses this, and they seem to call it Velganos pizza. So it is worth learning and picking up now while we're, still fighting Velganos before we switch off of him to the toxic chicken. So I feel like overall it might just be a good idea to use this time while we're stuck on Velganos, right? It's a practice. I don't see what's wrong with that. We're good at it now, we won't have to worry about it later. As you can see, he did the swirl again, right? But he did not do it a second time. The second time, like we see here, he'll do it only every even time after that first time. So we didn't have to worry about it that other time, but since he was against the wall, that would have been very unfortunate for us. And he's dead. Again, I got hit a lot of the times when we were running this. So honestly, your runs could be way cleaner than this, and my runs should be way cleaner than this. I'll be showing a quick little example. I'll do a very sped up run of my next run real quick, edit in. But again, the main points you need to remember are picking up your light stacks and not losing them. And then, obviously not getting hit by too many dark attacks to where you're losing your light stacks. Remember to keep up your stagger. That's always good. You want to be ready for the stagger check. As you saw on our final death, I wasn't ready for the stagger check, and I did die. I wasn't able to make it out fast enough, and if I wouldn't have messed that up, we probably would have been fine. There is one other mechanic I was not able to show you, but hopefully I can... post-production tech deck can throw it up right here and talk about it real quick, but that's a problem for him, not for me. A post-production tech deck here. So the mechanic here we see is Velganos puts a little circle with an orb above it, and you'll see that above our heads we get this little light hexagon that kind of follows us around. If there are multiple people in the party and they're near him when he starts this mechanic, right before he rushes towards the orb, one person's hexagon will turn black and everyone else's will stay gold. When this happens, the person with the black hexagon needs to run inside that circle and get picked up by Velganos. If you are a golden hexagon and you stand in between Velganos and the orb, he's going to rush your ass down and probably kill you. So stand out of the way. This will proc Velganos to get knocked down, and you will have time to DPS him. Back to the video. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope this helped even a little bit. So, until then, have a fantastic night, everybody. And I'll see you all next time.